Okay. And let's see here. I'm going to share screen. Y'all seeing that?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So here's Emily was kind enough to craft up our agenda for for this evening, and we got some SNAP business to go through, quite a bit of it actually. So we're going to start off with Wendy, and she's going to give us an update on the preparations for the 20th anniversary celebration this year.
Okay, thanks so much. And if I jump off before seeing all the pictures and having all the fun, it's Roger's on KP duty. So when the bell rings, I gotta go eat. Some good news. We had a little meeting over at Main Street Gallery with several members in here, not in here. And we selected a date. So save the date, November 8th at Main Street Gallery. That will be our gala pushpin show. Oh, I didn't think about that. It could be a gala.
There you go.
Yeah, let's go. So that was our big hurdle, just to kind of get together, see the space. It's a wonderful space, and I think it's gonna the parking is good. It's convenient in East Nashville. So now we just have to do all the work. So I do have some lists of volunteers, and I believe the timeline is going to go sort of like I really do have to get on a graphics logo. Michael Northcutt is unable to help, so I might reach out to some people, and I might look in my world, because I'd really like to have that snap that we use now and then 20 years underneath it, but I just have to make sure the top piece is in the same resolution as the bottom. But yeah, from there, I'm going to start building an email list from all the past lists that we've had gathered. I might send that out as sort of like, hey, look on here, see if you have anybody that needs updated, or you know anybody, because we'd like to reach out to past members, past buyers, just friends of Snap, to spread the word there. Then we're going to do some press, so we'll get that together. And the next steps after that are going to be starting to secure sponsors, because we would like to have some of this paid for. And then I will also start to outreach to some people with historic stuff. So Carl, get ready. I need everything. I've got a lot of stuff. Actually, it's funny. I have the old PowerPoints from our our original meetings, and it's just the same as this, where it's like what we're going to go through. So it's kind of fun. Our plan was to kind of have a room that's like the history of Snap, and possibly have old postcards, old exhibit pieces, pictures of our events, and then in the main gallery have the push pin. And also, I think we talked about having a slideshow going of not just photos, but also submissions, because it's nice to see past work. So we'll probably put together a slideshow with that. And I think that's it. So yeah, there's a few ways if you want to help out in small ways, and I'll outreach. Emily, was there anything else that I
No, I think it would help people to visualize this space if you talk about how the push pin part will work.
Oh, okay. And I can send out photos of the gallery so you can start looking at it. But I'm going to get some large, kind of like a foam core panels in construction. I'm going to ask my grandson. He works at a construction company that, they always get scraps and things. But we're going to get some large panels and, paint them maybe a white or gray. And we'll hang them with the hanging system they have. So we'll attach hooks to the back. And I've done all this before. I know Emily's like, I don't know if I see it or not, but I've done a similar thing with plywood, so it worked. But then we'll be able to push the pins in the front, and we'll determine on space. In the past, we've been very vigilant that everybody gets the same amount of space, and you kind of have your little area. So we might not be as strict with that. It might be a little looser, just because some people might. We might have to mount some people's items, like if they're out of town and they want to be a part of the show. So it might be a little looser, but we will have guidelines as to size and number of pieces that you can enter. And we have time. One last thing, it is going to be just a 1-day put up and take down. So that's probably where we'll need the most help. So as part of the putting up the work, people will bring their work. You can mount it the way you want to. And then you could leave and come back for the show. We have the gallery from 3 to 10. So the opening will be from 6 to 9. So we have time to clean up, and then we have those 3 hours to kind of set up. And I'll double check that. I think that was the time period. So that's it. We're rolling.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah. So
Right.
any
It's a great
questions
space.
or input?
Okay, all right, thanks. All right, and Emily's gonna talk about our upcoming exhibit at
So
SBC.
we got a really good response for the call for entry for the Roots. It'll be fascinating to see how Heather Lose makes her selections, because these are 113 fabulous photos from 28 different members, and she's got to pare it down to like 30, 35. So I'm looking forward to that. I wanted to be sure that people have the reception on your calendar. We'll have another meeting before then, but the opening reception at the Lasky Gallery at the Scarrett Bennett Center is May 8th. And that is the month that Heather is going to come give us her her feedback, her critique, her thoughts about how she went about selecting the photos that she selected. I will say we had a very rich discussion. A couple of shows ago, a juror surprised us by picking the top 3. And we kind of like that. And so then we asked Robin at our last exhibit to do the same kind of thing. And Robin did that along with some honorable mentions. And then I know that a number of shows that we're in at different places do that same kind of thing. But it turns out that that's really doesn't suit the nap sensibility. I mean, nobody's really against it, but nobody's really a fan of it. And the more we talked about it on the sort of the wider exhibit team folks, it was like, maybe that's something we can go back to the old days where we just enjoy the whole show. Everybody has their own personal reactions to those things, but we of course would hear from the juror when she talks to us about photos that stood out to her for one reason or another. So that's it. I did stick this in here as a follow-up, unrelated comment. The business about keeping up with our email. If somebody wants to step forward, it's pretty simple, but it's sort of a commitment to make sure that you check 2 or 3 different places once or twice a month. And occasionally you'll have, people who are asking to be added to our email list. Like we have a new member here tonight. I noticed him signing in, Fred. And I don't know how long his email sat out there, and some others, because we don't have a secretary. We don't have officers. We have Wayne and volunteers. And so you can text me, email me. You don't feel like you have to raise your hand right now, but it's a pretty simple job. It's just getting people onto our Gmail thing. So consider it, please.
Okay, thanks. And I wanted to give an update on Sister Cities. There's a couple of aspects to our Sister Cities involvement. One, the outgoing, and another, the incoming. We've got our Magdeburg show that hung initially year before last and has just come down from Preston. We've as you know, some of us have donated our Nashville photographs to Sister Cities so that they can sell them at an upcoming silent auction. Of course, we donated all the German photographs, so they've got quite a few photographs, all the German ones, and we've had 17 Nashville photos donated. So that'll probably make some good money for Sister Cities. And we've got, let's see here. So there's oh, yeah, I was going to talk about, there's Emily, what's the name of that event, the Sister
The
Cities
World of Friendship.
World of Friendship is coming up, and Sister Cities has offered to give us 10 tickets to that.
10.
So that participating photographers would be able to go. Let us know if you'd like to attend. I can send you the date on that. It's I don't have
May 23rd. It's
Oh,
May
the-
23rd.
May 23rd. Okay, May 23rd is the day. And if you'd like to attend, it's a day of friendship, and that's when they have the silent auction. So you'll be able to be there and see that. Okay. All right. And so now we've got some information from Jen Bogus about an upcoming event that they have.
Yeah, hey everybody. Good to see you all. I just wanted to share that Able Voices is going to have a 2-part pinhole camera workshop coming up. This Friday is actually the camera making portion of it. Friday from 12:30 to 2:30. We would love for Snap photographers to come and participate if you'd like to make a camera. If you've done your fair share of making pinhole cameras, you're welcome just to come and maybe help us out with some of our volunteers. The second half of the workshop, the second day, will be on Sunday, April 27th, which happens to be World Pinhole Photography Day. And that's when we're going to be using the pinhole cameras to make photos and then develop the prints. So once again, we'd love to have you all join us, whether you'd like to participate in the activities or just be there to help out some of the Able Voices photographers. My email is on this graphic here. So if you'd like to participate, either in one or both of the days, if possible, feel free just to send me an email and let me know. But we just thought it would be a fun way to collaborate.
And Jen, I'm going to speak real quick. Congratulations on getting into Periscope. I'm really excited for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And a friend of mine, Amanda McAdams, is in there, and you are so lucky because she makes candy.
You know, I met her actually. I met her last Thursday night. We had the they did a little kickoff event with the new cohort and then some alumni speakers. And so, yeah, she was really great. Panache. Candy?
Panache.
Panache.
Right?
Okay.
Panache, yeah. But yeah, she makes fabulous candy. It's delicious. So we're very jealous. But we look forward to both of your journeys in this.
Cool. Thank you. Any questions about the workshop?
When you say you're going to have it out at where on Saturday on Pinhole Day, where will the photographers be taking photos?
So actually on both days, it'll be where we have an office and studio. So we rent a couple rooms at Forest Hills United Methodist Church, which is just right on Old Hickory Boulevard, pretty close to 65, closer down to Granny White Pike. But yeah, so we're just gonna make the cameras there. We're gonna take the photos there. And so it might be kind of a thing where you're welcome. We'll be outside. We might have a few like little vignettes set up with flowers or something. But yeah, it'll all take place in the same spot.
Thanks.
And a couple of other little items. I know Deshaun has a show, currently is involved in a show at the Frist. So is Deshaun here? So anyway, if you, I'm planning on going to see that. So it looks like I saw the show popped up on my Instagram, so it looks very interesting. I'm going to go see that.
Which show is it?
It's in the community center of, that entryway, and it has all kinds of art having to do with food justice.
Oh, yes. Oh, he has a piece in there?
He has at least one. I'm not sure how many. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, those are very creative.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So
Well, Wayne, do you
Uh-huh.
want to see if there's, I know we're trying to kind of get to the actual program, but don't you have something? I mean, do people have other shows they're in or other news they want to share or book reviews coming out, for example?
I've had a book review of my raft book on a blog in Australia, which was pretty interesting. I can send out information on that. And I've got one coming up. I'm not sure when, but there's a website and a magazine that's published in Paris called Eye of Photography. And apparently there's going to be a review of my book in there. So again, I don't know when, but I'll let everyone know when that's going to happen. Does anyone else have any news or events they'd like to talk about? No? Okay. Well, I'm going to switch screens here. Quick. And do a different screen. Can everyone see that?
No, no.
Okay.
Yep,
Oh.
now it's coming.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna
There we
start
go.
off with our My Five, and we're gonna start off with Robin this evening.
All right. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, so I've been working on different abstracts and things, sort of displaced with water and motion and the wind and everything affects these things. Plus your shutter speed greatly affects the depth of field because this is like shooting something over about 30 feet, I guess, of the surface. This is at Radnor and it's just simply spring color with trees. And I love this time of year because you get to see the trees and the bark and you get everything from browns to whites and blacks. So I just work on this particular series of abstracts. It's usually with a polarizer on. And I used to shoot Velvia, so that was 50 ISO. And I just kind of felt like it was a cardinal sin to ever go over 400 ISO. But this is probably shot at 2000, and so some of the noise, I actually just leave in these images because it adds kind of a grainy texture to some of these different abstract shots. So anyway, I work on those with just different lighting. It's always almost either early morning or late afternoon reflections. And that's kind of a series I've been working on for a while. So Wayne, go ahead and skip to the next one. I'll try to go fast so we've got time for everybody's in here. All right, so this is a shot that sort of had a commercial reason I did it. I had actually gone out to shoot the Comet on this particular night, and I'm involved with TECA still, which is Tennessee Electric Co-op Association, and they've kind of commissioned me to do a series of 5 what we call acre prints, and what that is our PAC to help support rural electric cooperatives within legislative bodies and just get them to listen to us. So these come up, we do one a year, and at annual meeting they have a live auction, and then they sell these to whatever co-ops would like them for their boardrooms. And this is the second in that series. So as far as rural electric co-ops go, I wanted to incorporate I was again there to shoot the Comet, and then I started seeing the sunset and the way that the security light came up and kind of lit part of the driveway. And it's power lines and security lights are not a sexy thing unless you work for the Tennessee Magazine. And so on occasion I shoot power lines and security lights. So this one actually is the second in the series, and I sandwiched a couple of different images together to show the stars in the upper portions of this image. And I really didn't love it because it just looked a little bit too much to have stars up there, but they loved it. So so anyway, this is the second in that series, and I've got to come up with another one for next year. But this was just tripod, low light, and I did run this through Topaz after all was said and done, just so it would be a little bit smoother. So anyway, go ahead, Wayne, and flip to the next one.
Yeah.
All right, this one I just shot a couple weeks ago, and I just loved. I had been in the Sequatchie Valley doing some portraits of one of our general managers for TECA, and I was leaving his farm, and this is his cousin's farm. And I also entered this in Roots and called it Family Tree. So their family has been around this farm and around this tree forever. And so as I was setting up to shoot this, the clouds started kind of folding in to sort of frame it just perfectly. And normally it wouldn't be any great, awesome shot, but just the way the clouds started coming in, and I just enjoyed the composition as it continued to kind of flow in as I was shooting. Probably spent 5 minutes getting set up and ready to shoot this, and that one's handheld. Okay, Wayne, go ahead and go to the next one. This one I just shot 2 weeks ago down at the legislature. I was down there with TECA again, and this is at the Civic Center across the street from the Cordell Hull building. And there were 4 or 5 folks. This was like 7:30 in the morning, I guess. And there were 4 or 5 folks who were sleeping on the curb down there. And this one, he was kind of back in a little bit of a recession in the building. And it just really struck me with the fun kid stuff, the drama masks, the hockey player, how much fun the center's supposed to be. But for that person, it's their shelter at night. And so just the juxtaposition of that caught my eye. And he was complete. I didn't approach or try to talk to him. He was completely out. But anyway, that image kind of struck me when I saw it. Wayne, go ahead. Is there another one, or is that it? One more. Another street photo. So I don't do a lot of street photography, but I'm trying to get into it more with all of you guys as inspirations. This was on a trip to Santorini. Well, it was a cruise, and this was our stop at Santorini. So they have cats everywhere, and they're kind of worshipped. And what was that saying? I think it might have been Mykonos. Anyway, there's lots of cats, and I loved the blue in this window, and the buildings are colored. They paint their homes or their chapels based on what they do, and this blue is for fishermen. And then this was just a little chapel that was right at the port, and I had walked by it when we got there, and then the cat was up in the window when I came back by and just couldn't resist it. So another bit of street photography with a different homeless subject. So Anyway, that's it for me, I think, Wayne. Does anybody have any
Alright.
questions?
I love getting the glimpse of your wide range of work, Robin. This
Thank
is
you.
very fun.
Thank you.
I had a quick question. Under your first image, the abstract, was that in-camera movement or is that post-processing that you created that
Oh no,
effect with?
it's all in camera with shutter speed. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's
Yeah. Thank
beautiful.
you. Thank you.
I'm gonna go back to the beginning here.
Thank you, guys. I'm gonna have to duck out. But
Right.
anyway, I'm looking forward to watching the rest of the recording and seeing all of your work. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I think if you hit that X over there at the left, you'll get the whole lineup.
Okay.
At
Okay.
the top left.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, no, the X will get you all the,
okay.
see right there on the left side of the word file and March
Huh,
20, there you
yeah.
go. You hit that, then
Yeah.
you've got the whole lineup and you can start, you can know whose
From the
photos you're
beginning.
bringing up
Mm-hmm.
down below. Yeah. You just,
Mhm.
I didn't mean to mess you up, sorry.
Okay.
If, nope, now we're seeing your email.
Yeah, that's I'm starting from I'm clicking on the link that you gave me to the box
Oh, okay.
just to start.
Well, if you go up to the tab that says Dropbox, yep, and, okay. I'll be quiet.
Sometimes displaying while sharing eats more bandwidth than, so you might stop sharing, get to the folder, and then share again. It's just one option.
Okay. Try that.
Yeah, it's good to have smart tech people to help us out.
If anybody wants to forward me the link, I'm on an Ethernet link too, so it would be a faster throughput if I can assist, if yours still is not happy.
I think maybe I've got it here.
Okay. I was looking at the attendees and I don't think we have, you know, we had talked about a couple that weren't going to be on, but there's several that it looks like are not on.
Oh, right. Where's Al Levinson,
He's
for
here.
example? Oh, I see you over there in the dark. Yeah, okay.
Okay, can you see
There
that?
we go. Okay, Al.
Just me?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, I don't need to talk about the 5 that I've sent in, but I was just gonna say like a couple things about why I'm even in Snap or not. Because like I always announce at these kind of meetings, considering myself a fine art photographer is kind of a stretch, really. I like all genres, but I have as much fun with nature and landscapes, and my favorite is vernacular cultural landscapes, uh, American roadside, and my used tire store project never ends. But really, I'm a socially concerned documentary photographer. So I'm always covering various actions, and I'm sort of compelled to shoot sort of straight photojournalism style, which back in PJ school that they always said it boiled down to, you could boil it down to 2 things: moments that tell and an easy read. Uh, but I've also kind of got a postmodernist sensibility. I mean, stuff happens around the edges and various places in frames, and there's lots of moments when the participants aren't really on or on message. And sometimes those exposures, I think, are really the most fascinating, even if my editor won't go for them. But with something like this with Snap, I get to revisit things, with not on deadline, so I have time to work on my post skills and really see if I can make images appear the best I can with my Photoshop skills and things. So that's really what I got to say. I think I don't even remember what I sent in, Wayne, so just run them through.
I'm not sure what's going on here.
I don't know why they're just the arrows to move forward.
Yeah,
Doesn't
I
seem-
don't know. It's not.
I've got the Dropbox on my computer if you want to share screen and I can run through it.
Okay.
So have you got, you need to turn on the shared screen.
Yeah. Okay.
Down there, the little green arrow, you know how to share it, what it says with multiple participants.
He's already got it where it's shareable.
Okay, now we
so-
got it. All right, so uh We'll see if I have any better luck. I don't know. You know, this is one reason we abandoned Zoom, isn't it? We got kind of, let's see, share. Hang on, I believe I can do this. Huh. Okay, I think I've got it almost ready. Yep. All right, so back to Zoom and share. Huh. Might as well do the entire, I don't know. I think Zoom is acting up on us tonight, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So you all see my whole screen probably, which,
Mhm.
But that's the SBC submissions, not the
okay, we
My5.
got that. And, oh, wrong file.
Yeah.
What we want is this
There we
one.
go.
All right, so now I think we know what we're doing. There we go. And there's our little arrows. So Al, here's your 5. And they are moments that tell and an easy read, right? Wow. Hmm.
I do occasionally not something other than social justice documentary. I grow a big garden.
Wow. So those were your,
Okra.
look at that diptych. Yeah.
Great.
Talk about a contrast.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Emily, can you expand the screen to full screen? Or, um, uh, okay.
That's where we get into the problem of not being able to
Oh,
move
okay.
forward.
Try just clicking to the right of the picture,
I
kind of
did.
the far right of the screen. Okay.
And yep. So maybe, oh, good grief. Did I lose the whole? Okay. All right, so now we can move on to Al Wood, right? And if
L squared. You
so, do
ready
you
for
want me to
it?
go? Do you want
You
me to go
ready?
through all 5 of them and then you talk about it, or do you want to talk about them one at a time?
One at a time. I got interest. I like Edward. Now I can't even think of his name. The painter.
Hopper.
Hopper?
Edward Hopper. And so I got interested in this website, Facebook page that's called Inspired by Edward Hopper. And I just do it for fun, but you take images and kind of manipulate them until it looks a little bit like the style of Edward Hopper. And he's got lots of different ways of presenting his images, but I like the ones that have a kind of a blue tone with lots of deep colors and spots. And that's what this represents here. And usually they're simple. They have one or two people in it, sometimes a little bit more. And they're all kind of, I don't know, not depressed looking, but they're not happy. And that's what this is all about here. And then just one of the things I like to do is play around with lenses that have different optical properties. And this one is it's a newer version of an old German lens that's, I can't pronounce the name of it, but it's Meyer Optic Gorlitz Biotar. And it's noted for its swirly bokeh. So this is the little soldier down on the square in Franklin with some swirly bokeh around him. The other lens that I've kind of become fond of, I don't use it a whole lot because it's not that easy to find a really good subject, but it's a anamorphic lens. It's a 50 millimeter anamorphic lens by Sarui. And essentially, when you make the actual picture initially, it's 58. It's the size, the normal size of the image is the same normal size of a 35 millimeter image shot with a 50 millimeter lens. And but it has a 1.6 shrink factor, so that essentially after you unshrink it, which makes the height remains the same as a 50 millimeter lens normally would be, but the width is equivalent to about 30 millimeters, somewhere around that range. And I just like the perspective that it gives. I made some pictures out at different other locations that around this is near the farmer's market. Made some in the farmer's market that I just like the way it looks. You know, I've not submitted, only submitted one lens, one image to a show, but I just like looking at them. And then, you know, I do some film photography, and I had a whole bunch of film given to me by Bill Kenner that he had in his refrigerator for a long time, 35 millimeter. And he had some Fujichrome, and I always wanted to do process the Fujichrome in a color negative. It's cross processing to what's called. So color negative developer processing color positive film, and it gives a really, at least with Fujichrome, I don't know how well it's going to look with if I do it with other films, but some of them look really bizarre. Other film stocks look really bizarre when you do that. But this is Fujichrome done in C41. And I just like the kind of, I don't know, kind of dull color impression that it makes. I had another one.
Oh, I thought that was yeah, sorry.
What I've been doing for about, now it's getting close to 3 years maybe, is going around photographing farmers markets, any kind of situation where people are coming to look at something, gathering together. And this was made out at the Tennessee Kentucky Threshermen's show in Adams. And these are some people baking bread, I believe is what they were doing. They're Amish. And so what I've been shooting is the vendors at these things, like crafts fairs and farmers markets and so forth. And then I've got some out at the state fair. I hope to finish this at the end of this fair season. When it's over with, I'm going to start putting images together for a book.
Can we just move on to David Foster?
Hey, Emily,
Okay,
this is Lee.
yeah.
Would you try just clicking that green button in the upper left corner of your window and that'll maximize the window, but it won't use, there you
Okay, is that easier?
Oh, thank you.
go. Much better.
Good solution. Little by little takes a team. All right.
So, this is, I do mostly flower plant photography. And this is a nasturtium, which some of you may recognize. I didn't. If it hadn't been in context, you just look at this, and it's like the craziest nasturtium I've ever seen, and it really looks like it's on fire to me. And so I was just really captivated by the unusual graphic structure of it, and the colors, and the intensity of the colors. Okay. Normally I don't go looking for critters, but sometimes they come find me. And this was taken actually when I was in Hawaii in February, and I was photographing the Queen Emma spider lily and all of a sudden there were 3 or 4 of them that were just racing around, playing and having the greatest time. And they're just so stunning. And they were quite tolerant of me in sort of playing a spectator to their sport. And anyway, so to me, it was such a playful moment that I had a good time. So for me, this is kind of an out of the ordinary, opportunistic moment that I am more than willing to take advantage of when it comes my way. So this is this is an endemic hibiscus to the North Shore of Kauai, and I like hibiscus in general. I find them structurally, geometrically, graphically interesting, but I really enjoy the native versions because the simplicity of them, in contrast to the sort of showiness of the hybrids, and the fact that shortly before I had the chance to photograph this, we'd had a short little rain shower just made it so perfect, because this is very much a rainforest variety of hibiscus. And then if you look at the sort of very east side of the red thing, there's actually a very tiny little insect on the end of a very tiny part of the flower. And so I'm just, it just stuns me that how small that is. And so, another piece of fauna in an image that I wasn't expecting. This, to me, the thing that's just so striking to me about this one is it looks like the stamen are actually being lit from inside the flower. I love the way light works with and the plants work together. And although obviously the light isn't coming from inside the flower, the way it plays out made it feel that way. And so I was just struck by the juxtaposition of the elements here and the textures.
Oops. Sorry, I'm
No worries.
not trying to cut
No,
you short.
that was an afterthought, Emily.
Oh, that was a pause.
No, it was so this is the plant, overall plant is a bromeliad, which is not an aquatic plant. But it has these essentially self-made bowls in the center that collect water. And so the inside of it becomes an aquatic plant in the middle of non-aquatic circumstances. And I just love the delicacy. I mean, the bromeliads are anything but delicate, but then this little interior spot was just so, and then the white, except for the edges, obviously, of the flower petals, the white is all sky cloud reflection. That just adds sort of interesting accent marks for me. So again, playing with light and shape and color. Okay.
And you need to sign up for that daffodil thing. All right, I'm next, and I'm going to run through these 5 and then talk about them. And what you may see is color, which I have been realizing that is one theme in my work through, not just recently, but for a while. It's been like the colors. And David, you were saying the light and the color and the patterns. Yeah, I could say that too. Our photos couldn't be more different. And yet there is that maybe commonality of seeing. And I also actually have been more intentionally working with photos that have what some might call clutter, a lot going on in them, reflections, and there was a period of time where I was hoping I was going to get a whole bunch of backroom scenes, because I love the way the front of a shop can just look, ready, and then here's where the real action comes about with the styrofoam cups and calculators and so forth. And this one, I just the colors in here get me, and also the way that in some of these there's a sort of a gesture, like the tilt of her head is similar to that flamingo in the back. They're on the same angle, all of which I find fun. Oh, new member Fred Bergman, you want to talk to us about yours?
Sure.
Want me to go through them all? Do you want me to go through them all?
Yeah, that'd be great. And I can talk to him as we're going through them all. I've mostly been working this past year on just trying to create a mood and a feeling with my pictures. And so that's, most of these are from a Cades Cove trip that happened in November. But I really am trying to, make it feel like you're there and kind of get a sense of what the place feels like and looks like when you're there in person. So still working on becoming more artistic, and these are some of my first efforts, but enjoy the process, and I'd like to shoot just about anything. So I tend to focus on landscape and wildlife mostly, but I also do some street photography and cityscapes and things like that.
Cool. Well, these do have a mood. Thank you for sharing these.
Thanks.
Oh, we can flip through James's. He's not, something came up and he's not able to be with us tonight, but he's passed along these 5 photos. So it'd be interesting to hear what he would have to say about them, right? We miss you, James. All right, Jen. Are
Okay.
you still here, Jen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you want me to show them all or one at a time?
You can just do one at a time. That's fine.
Okay.
So the photos that I kind of assembled tonight represent two different projects that I've been doing the past few years. So this first one here is from a project called I Am Determined. And so it's a collaborative project between me and my brother, actually, who is a very talented graphic artist. So um, uh, what I do is I photograph youth and adults with disabilities that showcase their self-determination through a talent or a skill or a job or a hobby, something that they work really hard at, and they live the life that they want to live. They may need support to do that, but that's okay. It's really coming from them. So this is a young man named Gregory Price. He's just a very talented jazz pianist. He performed at the last Able Voices Gala, and I just took that picture in front of a white sheet, a white curtain, and Gregory wanted a speakeasy jazz bar kind of feel, and my brother created that backdrop, all from compositing different images. So
How fun to have a talented brother.
yes, it's a lot of fun to work together. The next four pictures are from a project that we've done about the past 6 years in collaboration with the Vanderbilt Kennedy Center. So the Vanderbilt Kennedy Center is a center on excellence for developmental and intellectual disabilities. And it's been about 25 years. They've created this booklet, for a project they call Kindred Stories of Disabilities. And their public policy team decides on a timely, current disability topic. And then each year they collect stories from Tennesseans with disabilities. Graduate students interview them, write the stories, and then for about the past 6 years, Able Voices has been taking the photos to accompany these stories. So I've been very fortunate to meet a wide range of people in the disability community, whether they're self-advocates or just care about or work with or love someone with a disability. So this young man, he is a football player at a college in Arkansas, I believe. And I met with him and his mom, and he shared with me just how supportive the school was to help him accomplish his goal of graduating and then going on to college and playing football and getting a post-secondary education. And he credits that with his great special education staff. So next one. This one was one of the first Kindred Story projects we did. It's a celebration of sorts. It's a mom and her daughter. They helped advocate for a bill that passed, went through the Tennessee State Legislature to support kids with disabilities. And so they both played a big part in advocating for that. This picture, the woman on the left is Carolyn Nafee. She's a sort of a mentor of mine. She founded a nonprofit in Nashville called Our Place Nashville. And they do something that a lot of people, it's hard to do. It can be challenging to do, but they provide housing to individuals with disabilities. And they have this really neat model where they have people with disabilities, intellectual and developmental disabilities that live in these houses. And then they have people without disabilities, but are able to provide housing at a very low cost. So especially this day and age in Nashville, it's that can be extra hard. So they're expanding, they're creating more houses every year, and Carolyn just retired, so it's been really interesting for me just to kind of see her work the past few years. But here she is in the kitchen getting to talk to some of her residents. And then I think this is the last one. This was from this past year. This is a special education teacher that lives in Knoxville, or actually past Knoxville in East Tennessee. And the topic for this booklet this year was youth who have co-occurring mental health conditions as well as disabilities. And she just shared some stories, and she chose this particular alley because she really felt like it represented kind of the students that she has worked with. You know, they're kind of, you know, rough maybe on the outside, but there's all artwork down this corridor, down this alley. And then once you take the time to walk through it and really get to see it up close, get to know the students, so to speak, you see the beauty in it, and you see the real individual.
Well, thank you.
Yep. Thank
I
you.
feel like we probably want to talk about all of these, but I'm also aware of the time. We have about another 30 minutes, 25 minutes. Not to put the pressure on you, Joe. Are you with us?
I am. I'm just getting enabled.
Unmuted? Do you want me to go through them one at a time, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll try and be brief. I when looking at this was a very fun challenge, quote unquote, to go back through your 5 favorite or most influential or whatever images of the last couple of years. I went out to there's a tree in Metro Center. It's actually quite hard to photograph, so I had to use a long lens on it. But there were some herons in mating season, and I just found their behaviors very charming and interesting and fun to watch. And it was around Valentine's Day, and I came up with a little mini series and called it Heron Rules to Love By. And I looked up some quotes or different, things that went with each image. And this one, you don't love someone for their looks or their clothes or their fancy car, but because they sing a song only you can hear. And that's Oscar Wilde. That's a quote from Oscar Wilde. The theme of this one for me was about learning, because if we can go back just for a second, when I originally took the picture, it's actually very hard to get these animals in flight because they go pretty quickly. And originally the image was cropped to the right, and part of the wing was cut off. And I was experimenting with AI and stuff, and generating the right hand side of the image. And so I thought it was fun that I was able to, even though I liked the original image, that I was able to, create a complete wing there using AI. So I just thought that was interesting. All right, now to the next one. This is at Cheekwood, and it's one of those where this is sometimes you get lucky is kind of the theme of this one. I thought it was interesting that I was trying to take a picture of the water lily, and this is at Cheekwood. But when I got home, I realized I had that little droplet ripple in it. And I really felt like that kind of made the image, that it showed that moment in time. And so I like that one. You can go to the next one. I went to the David Lusk Gallery for an exhibit, and I came out, and this was like in October, And this little garden that they had was really far gone. But I just loved the different shapes that they made and the way that, the quote unquote practically dead flowers still had beauty to them and shapes. And I liked how that came up. And then there's the learning aspect of this one was that there's a process you can do that you coat the back of a picture with like a gold or a silver leaf. But these are actually textures that look like gold. And I just thought that, was a cool, it was another experiment that I did. Okay, the next one. These next two are from we went to France in 2024. And we did this, I don't know what you call it, but it was an afternoon with these horses. And it was one of those things that was stupid expensive is what I call it, and yet worth every penny, which is one of those contradictions that you don't get in life very much. But that experience of watching those horses run towards you while you're kind of crouched down was a very interesting experience, and it was great fun. Next one. This is one of those, when you travel, you just don't know until you get there. We were walking down, this is Avignon, France, and we were walking down this main thoroughfare and we go, oh, look, there's this cool little museum over here. And I just loved how all these different statues had these different poses and ages and cultural levels in terms of what period they came from. And it just looked like you caught all these people in these different poses. And actually, this was one of those that I did a whole lot of Photoshop on because there were a few people in and out that I needed to remove, but I just loved the peaceful sense of this place that we just happened upon while we were in France. Okay, that's it.
Okay, that's me. Let's see.
Kimberly, do you want me to go through them one at a time?
Can you see me? No, you can, yeah, just one at a time, it's fine. So when we got this assignment, my 5, instead of picking like my 5 favorite, I leaned into the portion of the question, like, where are you as a photographer? Something that represents that. And these 5 represent the fact that I didn't really take a lot of time over the last year or so to shoot, but when I'm out, I always have a camera with me. And this is what happened. So this one, I was on vacation in Florida and we were on a pier. I had been taking a couple of shots from the time this bird landed until he got on the railing. He stood there for a while and I just kind of kept my phone ready because actually I didn't even have a camera with me. And it was one of those things that I learned, like, always listen. And usually that's where the photo is. And I heard this bird make a really loud noise and I turned around and put the phone up just in time, took a bunch of shots. And this is one of the ones that I got. And I just love the way it came out. The next one. Again, another vacation photo. Is one of those where one of the things that I found myself doing is taking pictures of something that makes you like look twice or that makes you take a second look. And I was scared for this woman. Like, she was just as comfortable as me sitting on the back of this motorcycle sideways in her skirt. So it was just and there was a lot of things going on, and I tried to frame it up as best I could while I was also a passenger inside a vehicle at the same time. So, so these are examples of, they're not technically perfect, but I still like them anyway. Next one. Again, one of the things that I've been trying to work on is, or I just seem to do, is try to make something out of a chaotic scene and make some order out of it. And I took maybe 3 shots here, and this one just seemed to everything lined up, and there was just so much to look at that was going on, and the colors is what I liked about this one. Another vacation photo is, this struck me because this little kid, I think he was about 9 years old, something like that, doing his thing. Everybody looked so proud, and his little horse, like it's like they were growing up together, learning how to do these things together. So I really just like that moment. This is a totally different direction. I don't really share a lot of these photos. Sometimes I go from the chaotic scenes to the simple. I've been doing some like what the first one we had, the motion photography, the slow shutter speeds, things like that. And also things with a lot of geometry and layers. So everything just kind of, it looked like the grass, the building, the trees, mountains, the sky just were different, 4 different layers. And this was actually taken from as I was a passenger in the vehicle as well. So yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Lee Perry.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi. Okay. This was the bloodworm moon that happened a couple weeks ago. It was kind of challenging. I've done photos of the moon before, but with the low light, and you couldn't get the shutter speed too quick or too slow, or the moon would move. And so anyway, so I got home and was happy to have walked away with one because the hour was fleeting. I did have to run it through Topaz a little bit to clean it up. It was a little bit noisy out of my OM1, but anyway, I just wanted to share.
Beautiful.
And that was, we got to go to Florida in January, and we were in Fort Myers, has the 6 mile slough. It's a park there that is amazing. If anybody's down there, plan at least one afternoon, if not 2. So we were down there, and this was where they were making me leave at dusk. I did not want to go, but I don't remember what those birds are, but I called them Florida chickens because they were everywhere like pigeons. And I just thought it was kind of cool. I mean, it's the nice warm sun and 3 little guys having dinner. And that again was more northern Florida. And I just really felt the mood from that kind of gothic southern thing going on. I really want to go back to Florida and try to like really spend some extra time to capture the mood that's down there. It's just so different than anything that we have here, but that was one of my initial attempts. That is one that is more of a question for the group. I do a lot of cyanotype and anthotype kind of work, and I've been playing with them, and I'm not too sure if this is crossing the line. These are, let's see, they're I guess little wild daffodils or whatever they are, little wax flowers, and they are done with cyanotype, where I've added turmeric and beet juice for colors. And that's that is actually an inverted version. So the yellow becomes blue and the blues become like that the kind of muted background. It's on RC paper instead of watercolor paper. And it's actually, it's got like bubbles and like cling wrap and things like that on it that gives it all those different textures. And so my question was kind of like, is this still considered photography, or does this cross the line with that much post-processing? I mean, just
Most of the exhibits I see that include this kind of work, which it's really cool. They call it alternative processes.
okay.
Cyanotypes are considered, quote unquote photography, that you're using light to develop an image.
Right.
And so you might want to like Google alternative process.
Oh, I do. I just, when it
Okay.
comes into like submitting it, I don't want to cross the lines of like, is this still, it's still photography. I mean, I'm going in and completely inverting the color profile. So
Yeah.
like, is that pushing the limits too
Well,
much?
it's not AI.
No, it is not. That is 100. Every flaw in there. I mean, the only AI that may be is the spot removal tool, every piece of dirt pretty much is in there. So yeah, but I just wanted to be, I've just had more fun since I started playing with, like, I've got like I do a lot of RC. I call them cyanolumens. I don't really know what they are. But when I use like turmeric, beet juice, pea flour, matcha, and all these things to create the colors and things to bubbles and things like that for texture. So, and I
Have you ever
absolutely
done any
love it.
workshops with Susan Bryant?
I did the one with her with the pan pastels.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You
Lee,
want to do a different one than that, for this, but you might even contact her and just say, here's what I'm doing. Because she does a lot of experimental, very manual.
hey, I'm gonna
stuff like
jump
that.
in here because this is a very wonderful, rich topic, Lee. I think this will be
I'm
a great.
sorry, I do that,
No,
don't I?
no,
I
I
just
think
have always been so afraid to submit them for
no,
anything
no.
like,
Alternative processes are fine, and that would include just all kinds of things that people do. That even the pinhole photography that
Mhm.
et cetera. So no, this is
Okay.
legit. You haven't crossed the line.
Yeah,
Well, I've got piles of them.
I've heard the term recently. I don't know, maybe it's been around for a while, but I've heard the term lens-based art, which kind of broadens it. Maybe is supposed to be broader than what is traditionally considered to be like film-based or digital photography. Different processes,
Okay. All right. Well, that's a lot of what I've been doing. And this is this was Hematite Lake up in Kentucky. And actually my partner had his film camera and I just shot that wondering what it would look like in black and white, and I think it's just haunting. And yes, I've made a negative out of it and I have a cyanotype of it and all kinds of weirdnesses with that one too. So
Cool. Thank you, Lee.
thanks. I'm
Wow.
sorry if I took too long.
No, it's not you. I did not, no, don't misunderstand me. I was looking at, we had so many more to go, but one is Leslie's, who isn't here, but let's look at her beautiful photos before we go to the next one and imagine what she'd be telling us about them. Wow.
Oh man.
Another great series, right? Thank you, Leslie, in your absence. So we enjoyed seeing them. And Robin, we've heard from. Oh, okay, we're further along than we thought. Now, Wayne, here,
This is
I
mine.
think you've got the last set here, yeah.
Yeah. This is a picture that I shot this on an iPhone. This was a little concert of traditional European music in Regensburg, Germany. I went over there last year to visit, and I thought I caught his expression with the hand on his face. I just liked the way that it looked. But yeah, and you, of course, it was a very intimate space, and so you couldn't be using a traditional camera with clicking and clacking. So I had to use my iPhone. This was also in Regensburg. I just thought that was interesting. For some reason over there, it's called TK Maxx instead of TJ Maxx. It's probably because in German, the letter J is Jot, so that would just kind of sound funny. So I guess they changed it to K. But again, this one was also taken with my iPhone. This is Manhattan, obviously. This Empire State Building. I took this when I was up there for the introduction of my book at the International Center of Photography, and this was taken from the roof of my hotel in the Lower East Side, and I used my actual camera to shoot this one. This was shot here in Nashville on February the 17th. It was the Not My President's Day protest at the Capitol. And I tried this in color originally, but I think it looks better in black and white. I struggled with what to do with the poster, with the sign that he took, because basically it's just white, which was kind of funny in black and white, but and then this was at the same event protest. This one has had a lot of processing done to it. There were a bunch of people standing behind her, and they were out of focus, but they were still distracting. So I removed them. It took some effort to do that. But the Photoshop remove tool did a pretty good job. But I like the way the lady in the mask is looking up at the girl. So that's one of my favorites, I think, recently.
Well, that was fabulous. I was trying to see if we could get this on a grid so we can sort of do a quick overview, but this it may be too much for the computer. So why don't we just go right through everything real quickly, and then Wayne, I'll let you wrap up the meeting. I'll get us back to office screen share. Look at these photos, everybody. Wow. Look at the diversity of approaches. Wow. The people, the flora, the fauna, the Photoshop, you all doing crazy things, getting rid of people in your photos. And woo, and I love the graphic nature of some of these and the alternative processes. Wow. All right.
I was thinking that might make an interesting blurb book.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because those of you who submitted photos, I sent out an email that if we had talked about putting these on our Instagram account, and I asked you to say yes and give me your Instagram handle if you wanted to do it, or just no thank you. So be sure and reply because it's easy to overlook things. Does that seem like a good approach, or should we just say, tell us no thank you if you don't want it, and then we'll.
Was that in an email that you
It
sent?
was in an email. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
people get flooded with emails. I got 2 responses, 3.
I remember seeing it, but I haven't responded yet.
Well, do y'all mind saying it out loud right here? Al, are you still on the meeting? No.
Al Wood is.
Al Wood is, okay to put it on Instagram?
Yes.
Lee Perry, okay to put yours on?
Yes. Yeah, I sent you
And
an email.
Joe, you said it was okay.
I sent
Kimberly,
an email.
you sent an email? All right.
Uh-huh.
And that's everybody that's left right now, right? Am I missing somebody? We're down to 9 participants. Time to call it a day.
Fred.
Yeah, I sent
Oh,
an
yeah, I already
email as
heard from
well.
Fred. I got his email.
And
Yeah.
it's okay with me as well.
All right. So I'll
Okay, Emily. This is Kimberly.
Yeah.
yeah. All right. So I'll pester the others. All right.
Okay.
What is our next meeting in person or do you know?
Yeah, we were talking about what we're going to do. We're thinking about doing a book event, talking about having a little presentation or maybe a panel by members who have done books, published books, or created books on their own, talking about how to do that. And I think maybe that might be better in person.
I agree.
Because I mean, if you bring books with you, way people can look at the physical books and look through them. So yeah, I'm thinking that might be best. Okay.
Do we have an estimate on when notifications are going on Scarrett Bennett are going to be late March still?
Oh, the selections will be made by early April.
Okay.
And I should look, the drop off is early May.
Yep.
It's in that wonderful call for entry, which we can all dig up, right? I'll try to dig it up. But the good question, Joe. I'm waiting on to wrapping up a detail with just a couple of the people who submitted, and then I'm ready to get it probably to the juror tomorrow, and she'll
Okay.
have it this weekend.
Sounds good.
Right. Anything else? All right, well, I'll stop recording.